The terrible COVID pandemic has impacted everyone across Wales. It's been difficult for many industries, and the arts have been significantly impacted too. In this film, we chart the story of how Wales's resilient arts sector responded during unprecedented times, revealing their imagination, innovation, and resilience. As soon as the pandemic struck, the arts sector jumped into action, engaging with the community in ways they'd never had to before.
Rhondda Cynon Taf was one of the hardest hit areas. One of the things that we've been really passionate about is how can we get out and reach the people who kind of need us most. And we did everything from delivering 30,000 meals to our local community. Really vulnerable families were struggling with anxiety. So we created this beautiful therapeutic storytelling project.
We were able to deliver our food stocks really quickly to the families who need them most in our county. We did that in partnership with social services. And that quickly moved into understanding how difficult it was for those families to have any creative respite. So we created over 300 creative packs that went out to those families, and that matched some of the work that we were doing with the dementia sufferers.
Arts organisations across Wales began reaching out to the vulnerable people around them.
Ac un o'r grwpiau yna ydy Dementia Active Gwynedd. Fel grŵp sy'n gweithio gyda pobl hŷn a pobl pregus, maen nhw wedi colli tipyn o bobl dros y blwyddyn diwethaf. Wnaethon ni defnyddio coreograffi a cerddoriaeth Swan Lake. Mae'r ffilm wedi cael ymateb arbennig o dda. Mae wedi mynd yn viral. Da ni hyd yn oed wedi cael neges hyfryd gan Matthew Bourne yn sôn am faint mor hyfryd oedd y ffilm. Nath gyrru neges i ni ar Twitter yn gweud oedd yn beautiful and really moving.
Right from the start of the pandemic, digital was becoming the new norm, helping inspire new forms of creative work.
We took some time actually after we closed the gallery to understand what we wanted to do. We didn't necessarily want to translate the exhibition we had in the gallery online, and so we invited a number of external curators to produce new works, a series of radio programs, a whole week of television streaming using twitch.com, a whole series of Instagram TV commissions. We wanted always to have a digital strand of the program, but we never really got around to do it in terms of capacity and time and resources.
Ac oedd yn bwysig i ni bod ni'n cynnal hwnna, cynnal y berthynas gyda pobl ifanc, a'r ateb oedd mynd yn ddigidol. Mae'r gymuned leol wedi bod mor gefnogol. Mae'n dosbarthiadau dawns ni, dosbarthiadau celf, dosbarthiadau animeiddio. I ni'n falch iawn o Abertwa, y gwyl ffilm arswyd sydd yn dod o'r ganolfan yma. Lenny, bydd rhaid iddi bod yn ddigidol yn unig. A diolch i Gaz a'r tîm yn y sinema, a hynny yn llwyddiannus iawn.
It's clear that technology has been helping provide improved access to the arts, and it's also encouraged many new creative collaborations.
One of the most exciting projects has been our partnership with Cadw. Whilst people were trapped at home and not able to engage in both the nature and the history, they were able to do so from the comfort of their sofa. We've always believed passionately in the power of digital as a means of breaking down barriers, a great way of democratizing access. Virtual and digital world can open up accessibility to audiences that cannot physically access a space.
And physically accessing large cultural events has been particularly difficult during COVID. But many event producers have risen to the challenge.
So wedyn penderfynu y gallen ni ffrydio'r cyfan o Gastell Caerdydd a cael Hugh Stevens a Tara Bethan yn lliwio'r diwrnod cyfan iddyn ni. So oedd na rhaglen deledu byw 6 awr ar gyfer Tafwyl Llynedd. Ond eto Lenny, da ni wedi gweld bod na dros 30,000 o bobl wedi mwynhau Tafwyl 2021 a nifer o rheini, nid yn unig o Gymru a Phrydain Fawr, ond wedi ymuno dros y byd i gyd. Felly'n sicr mae diddordeb yng Nghelfyddydau Cymru ar hyd a lled y byd.
Whilst digital was helping to reach the wider world, the death of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matters movement was driving arts organisations here in Wales to seriously reflect on diversity and take action.
People are starting to realise that things need to change, things need to be different. You know, we can't go back to the same old normal.
We appointed 8 creative associates. They'll reflect with us, work with us to help to embed the change that's required to make this organisation more creative.
I really hope that this drive towards diversifying the arts is not just a flash in the pan, something that comes and goes, but it's something that we continue to strive for. A massive part of the recovery effort where there is so much change that can be made, let's make it positive.
As well as disproportionately affecting people of colour, COVID has greatly impacted those struggling with disabilities and long-term illness, something many organisations have tried to address.
One of the 12 artists that we've commissioned for the Many Voices One Nation show is Kaz Alexander. She's a very severely disabled woman confined to home. Unfortunately, she did catch COVID, but during what was an incredibly traumatic time, she posted photographs on Instagram every day of her experiences in the hospital, and it's helped her recovery, and it's also enabled her to share her experiences with a wider audience.
The challenge to continue with important outreach and education work was clear right from the start of the pandemic.
We had to cancel our pre-professional program. We lost a lot of income. The first steps to responding was taking a little step back and seeing what we could do strategically. One of the positive things we've been able to do is to really expand our education work all over the world, from America, South America, from all over Europe. Our adult ballet classes, taking them online, it's just totally international and national as well. Scottish ladies joining in our Welsh language ballet classes. That's been absolutely brilliant.
Un peth da ni wedi ddarganfod o'r profiad yma wrth rhoi gwersi ar Zoom, bod ni'n gallu cyrraedd unrhyw rhywle yn y byd. Yn ddiweddar, mae yna ferch o Batagonia, enghraifft, wedi cychwyn cael gwersi drwy gyfrwng y Gymraeg efo ni bob pythefnos, gwersi telyn, a mae yna ŵr o Indonesia hefyd yn cael gwersi, ac o ardaloedd eraill o Gymru sydd ddim o fewn commute i Gaernarfon.
The pandemic has clearly been tough, but it has been a catalyst for change.
Roedd rhaid fod yn lot fwy beiddgar, lot fwy creadigol. Fe lawnsio ni ymgyrch pethau bychain fel ffordd o ddweud stori beth sydd bod yn mynd ymlaen yng Nghymru yn ystod blwyddyn y pandemig, a'r pethau bychain mae pobl yn gallu gwneud sydd yn gallu gwneud y byd yn le gwell. Dwi'n meddwl bod ni wedi dysgu lot yn ystod y cyfnod y pandemig. Mae artistiaid yng Nghymru wedi bod yn andros o hyblyg yn y ffordd maen nhw wedi ymateb ac yn greadigol a wedi creu gwaith godidog.
Flexibility and creativity has helped arts organisations quickly pivot and rethink how they engage with the communities around them.
We've established new areas of work with different audience groups that we hadn't worked with previously. One of these is a group of Portuguese elders and initiated it through sending letters through the letterboxes. The connection we've been able to establish is so much stronger. We don't always have to initiate projects by inviting people in. There are great benefits to starting projects with people in their homes where they're most comfortable.
Through wide-ranging COVID-19 support, the Arts Council of Wales have sought to protect the arts and creative sector.
Without that emergency funding, we would have been struggling to operate and look towards a positive, creative future.
Da ni'n hynod o ddiolchgar am y gefnogaeth gyda ni o gronfeydd Covid, Cyngor Celfyddydau. Mae'r gefnogaeth ariannol yna wedi bod yn gwbl allweddol i ni yn y flwyddyn dwytha. Fysa ni ddim wedi gallu cyflawni be da ni wedi cyflawni heb y gefnogaeth yna.
Funding has enabled us to pivot quickly and help our communities during this time. Without that, we may have had to make mass redundancies. We certainly wouldn't have been able to help our communities in the way that we have.
The financial support has meant that whilst struggling through lockdowns, the people of Wales have benefited from being able to continue participating in the arts.
I'm a mother of two boys, both have special needs. I was given the opportunity to attend the Pearl Jump sessions. It really touched places that we needed to be with my son's issues.
It's been difficult to be motivated. I feel that the music has been as helpful to me as my medication.
The one thing I felt myself craving in lockdowns was community, to be offered an opportunity in, a vacuum of like not much happening. It was an absolute joy.
A dros yr amser clo yma, mae o wedi bod yn edrych ymlaen o'n arw I gael y sesiynau wythnosol. Canu ydy bob dim I wan a cael gweld I ffrindiau, felly da ni mor ddiolchgar.
The extraordinary creative responses have had profound effects on people's lives during this difficult period. Innovation, fresh insights and new connections between people, spaces, places, and communities are now helping power the recovery.
The impact of the arts on people's well-being have been invaluable in supporting people's mental health.
The COVID break has allowed us to step back and hopefully be more strategic in the future.
We didn't just do art for art's sake, we did art in order to make sure that communities were really supported when they needed that support.
The hope is that now people are actually recognising that it's an issue, we will start to see a more diverse workforce and a more diverse culture.
Gwaith o ail adeiladu yr ymdeimlad o gymdeithas yn mynd i gymryd peth amser, ond dwi'n gwbl hyderus fod rôl pwysig iawn gan y celfyddydau i wneud hynny ac i wireddu hynny.